We're going to do a follow-along class where we're going to look at these 8 really predictably tight muscles that affect a whole host of conditions in a wide variety of people. Pretty much everybody is going to have these muscles tight, so anybody can benefit from doing this stretching routine. So the first muscle we're going to look at stretching is posterior tibialis. In order to get this to relax and stretch, I'm going to use my anterior tibialis. So I'm going to start off by dorsiflexing, as we said, everting, turning the foot out and gripping the little toe side. 1, 2, and relax. So pulling up and out. That's 2 repetitions. So I'm counting either the reps or I can count the seconds. Here I'm going to count the repetitions. I want to do 10 repetitions, which is equivalent to 20 seconds of stretching. Because it's 2-second holds and I'm repeating 10 times, that makes for 20 seconds in total. Pulling up and out, 1 more, up and out, and now I'm going to swap sides. So you guys swap with me. Sitting back or whatever position is comfortable. You can do this sitting in a chair if you don't have enough mobility or you've got some knee pain. I'm going to do the same thing. So here goes the first rep. Dorsiflex and evert. That's just fancy words for pull up and out. And I'm using the muscles to do the movement initially and just using 2 fingers of the other hand to assist. So it's gently letting me go a little further into the stretch because the anterior muscles are generally a bit weaker than the posterior muscles. So by using these, I'm helping to strengthen them up, improve coordination between the muscles, but they're not always strong enough to do the full stretch. We've got just 1 more, and that's it. Let's move into our next stretch, which is going to be for one of our hamstrings, with a particular one that we would call short head of bicep femoris. Because the short head of bicep femoris doesn't cross the hip, it's more prone to getting short and tight because as we bend our knee when we sit down, this muscle gets really shortened. So here I'm using a stretch rope. I'm going to open out my stretch rope. You could use a yoga strap or even a towel in a pinch, but I'm going to make a loop that I can put around my foot. Once I have this looped around my foot, I'm just going to tighten it up. And then because the foot tends to turn out, the lower leg, really from the knee, tends to turn out, I want to counter that by twisting in. So here's the easy way to remember this. To turn in, the rope goes in. So I bring it to the inside first, wrap it around the leg, and then I'm going to take a hold of it in my other hand. Once I'm lying down, I'm going to reach up first to see how far can I go with a straight leg. I'm going to set that position with the hand on the same side. So here it's left leg, left hand. I then bend the knee, and when I straighten, I'm going to try and turn my toes in. So I'm getting rid of some of that rotation, actively turning in, and I'm using the stretch rope to assist in that process. So I've got a really gentle grip here. I'm holding between my finger and my thumb. My muscles do the action, and I'm going to just do 10 of these, like all of our other stretches. Extending the leg, turning, and that's us, 10. Good. Let's swap over onto the other leg. I'm going to change ends so you guys get a different camera angle, but you can just wrap that stretch rope around the other foot. So I've got my little loop made, putting that around my foot and tightening up. Then remember, because I want to turn the leg in, the rope goes in. Easy way to remember that. So the rope goes to the inside, wraps around my leg, and it's going to go across to the opposite arm. This one needs to be up in the air so I'm not pulling down and compressing my knee. I'm going to raise the leg to see how far I can comfortably go, set the position, and then you bend and straighten. Remember, as you straighten, you're trying to turn those toes in. You're trying to internally rotate the lower leg, the tibia. So the lower leg, the tibia, is just the name we give to the large bone in the lower leg. Extending, turning in, and the stretch rope just being used to provide a gentle help at the end. So again, we're going to do our 10 repetitions and relax. Same thing applies. We could do more reps. You could do up to 15 if you wish, but 10 is usually sufficient because 10 repetitions done for 2 seconds is equivalent to a total of a 20-second stretch. Piriformis is an important muscle in the back of the hip. It's part of a group known as the deep 6 that rotate the leg outwards. I'm going to make a loop. As we've said before, you could use a towel or a yoga strap. I'm going to wrap that around the foot, and then when I lie down, this is going to be used to gently assist in that rotational movement. So piriformis pulls the leg this way. To stretch it, I need to go the opposite way. So I start with my leg neutral, I reach out from my side, I roll the leg out, and I just assist gently with the rope. So again, I'm going to do 2-second holds, and I'm going to repeat this 10 times. So we could count to 20 seconds, or we can count the number of times we perform the exercise, which is known as a repetition. So letting the leg roll out. So I shouldn't feel any pain or discomfort on this. It's really quite gentle. One last one. And we're good. I'm going to turn around. You guys can just switch legs, but I'm going to turn around so we get a slightly different camera angle. I'm going to put my head at the other end of the mat. So again, I'm going to start off with my loop in my strap or stretch rope. Tighten that up around the foot. Lying face down. I'm going to bend the knee and reach out with the rope. So with the knee bent, I'm going to then externally rotate. Remember, you're using your muscles to do most of the action. The rope is not pulling very hard. It's just assisting at the end range. So I let the leg roll out, a little bit of additional stretch, and bring it back to neutral. 2 seconds and ease back. Letting the leg roll out, 2 seconds and ease back. Again, we shouldn't be feeling any pain. If you do suffer from sciatica, this should feel alleviating, not irritating. That's 9. We're going to do one more. 10 and relax. TFL is a small muscle at the front of the hip that is a flexor, an abductor, and a medial rotator. So it's a pretty complicated muscle. So this is quite an unusual stretch for TFL, but really effective because it gets in 2 of the 3 planes of motion. In order to do this well, I'm going to lie on my side. It's the top leg is the one that's getting stretched. So the bottom leg I want to use to protect my low back and stabilize my pelvis. I'm going to pull my knee up towards my chest, and then I'm going to take a hold of the foot on the other leg. Now, if this is difficult to reach, you can use a stretch rope. We'll demonstrate that in a moment. So I want to try and extend the leg back and then push my knee down towards the floor, holding for 2 seconds and relax. So that's my first repetition. This is my second. We're holding for 2 seconds at a time and repeating. We said on average 10 repetitions. So each time I'm letting the knee come forward, then I reach back, push down towards the floor and ease out of the stretch again. Back and down. Or if we wanted to use the technical terms, we'd say extend the hip and then adduct the thigh. Good. Again, we shouldn't feel any pain on this. If you feel like your neck is getting tired, you can always use a pillow, use something to support the head so that you're comfortable in this position. One more, we're going to reach down and relax. Let's take a look at this on the other side. Again, for variety, I'm going to switch ends. You guys can just roll over. So same kind of setup, pulling the knee up towards the chest, grip as far down along the foot as is comfortable, see where you can reach, and then you're going to extend back, push the knee towards the floor, and relax. That's our first rep. Second rep, feeling a gentle stretch. This shouldn't be sore. I'm feeling a little bit on the outside of my thigh, my vastus lateralis, and probably a little bit more focused down by my knee. So kind of the end of the IT band. But I'm not feeling any pain. I'm just feeling a little bit of tissue stretch. So actively extending, actively adducting, and then easing back out. Reaching back, pushing down towards the floor, and relax. Back and down and relax. Last rep, back, down, and relax. Let's take a look at 2 modifications. If you're getting too much pressure in your knee, there's 2 things we can do. So the first would be to use our stretch rope. So again, I can make a loop that I'm going to wrap around the foot. And this means I don't need to bend my knee as much. Now I can just reach back, assist with the rope, and push the knee down. You'll notice I've got better range of motion because my quads, particularly my rectus femoris, is more relaxed. It's an easier version of the exercise, but an important modification if you're getting pain into your knee. The other thing I can do is put a roll towel at the back of my knee, and it will act as a spacer. It kind of gaps the knee and it takes some of the pressure out of the knee because it's pulling the lower bone, the tibia, away from the upper bone, the femur. And it just creates a little bit more joint space. You could do that with the stretch rope, or you could do it holding the foot if you have a small enough towel and it's not pinching the muscles. Remember, don't continue to do anything that's causing you pain. Psoas is probably one of our most important hip flexors, prone to being short and tight, and when it is, it can really compress the lumbar spine and add an awful lot to lower back pain issues. So like TFL, I'm going to be lying on my side. I'm going to pull the knee up so that I'm protecting my low back and I'm protecting my pelvis. I'm going to take a hold of the foot, but this time instead of pushing the knee towards the floor, I'm going to reach back. 1, 2, and relax. Now, if you feel this more in your thigh, that's okay. It just means your rectus femoris, the hip flexor that's part of our quads, is a little bit tighter than psoas. Changing the angle of the leg can help. So if I bring my knee a little bit higher, I tend to get psoas a little bit more. Think about the thigh as acting like an arrow pointing towards the spine. If it's pointing towards your lumbar spine, you're really getting psoas a bit more directly. So again, when we reach back, we're holding for 2 seconds, and then we relax, and we just do 10 repetitions. So let's try that again on the other side. I'll change ends so you guys get a different camera angle. So lying on my side, I'm going to pull the knee up towards my chest, reach back, take a hold of the foot, and like our TFL stretch, we would say if you're getting pain in your knee, you could put a roll towel in. If you're finding the movement, the range difficult, you could use a stretch rope around the foot, which takes some of that bend out of the knee. Pull the lower leg up towards your chest. Then with the top leg, we're going to reach back as far as is comfortable and relax. Reaching back, holding for 2 seconds, and relax. So each time we reach back and hold for 2 seconds, that counts as 1 repetition or 1 rep. If I'm not feeling that so much into the pelvis, if I'm feeling it more down into the thigh, I can lift the leg a little bit higher, which makes it more of a psoas stretch. As the knee comes down closer to the floor, we change amongst the different hip flexors. So at this kind of elevated position of the knee, it's more directly targeting psoas. And that's our final 10th rep. Excellent. Let's move on. As a therapist, multifidus is one of my favorite muscles to treat because when you can treat and change the texture and tone of this important 4th layer muscle, you really help to improve the function of individual segments of the spine. So this can be done in a chair or it can be done in this position. I like this one because it's going to allow me to flex forward a little bit more. The more I flex forward, the lower down the back I'm going to feel this. So if you want to get more your upper back, you're going to drop your chin towards your chest and just round the upper back slightly. If you want to get more into your mid or low back, you're going to lean forward more. So that's the setup. Multifidus, its primary action is rotation. So I'm going to turn, I'm going to lever, I'm going to put one hand, if I'm turning to the right, my right hand goes on top of my thigh. My left hand I can use to grip the lower leg or the foot, or even use the floor, whatever leverage helps you. But remember, don't lever too strong. So I'm going to lean forward, gently rotate, use my arms to increase the range a little bit and hold for 2 seconds and relax. I'm going to repeat that, 3, 4, and relax. So if I'm counting in 2s, I'm counting the seconds. Or you can just count individual repetitions. So if you're counting seconds, you're counting in 2s, you're going to go up to 20. But if I'm counting the number of times I perform the movement, the number of repetitions, I'm just going to count to 10. And again, I shouldn't feel any pain or discomfort. I just feel a gentle stretch. So muscles in my torso and my back are doing most of the movement, and the arms are just being used to assist. Let's do that to the other side. So now that I'm turning to the left, my left palm goes on my left thigh. The other hand, like I said, we can reach wherever is comfortable. I'm going to hold my tibia. I'm going to round forward and then rotate my shoulders. 1, 2, and relax. Never forcing the movement. Instead, what I want to do is go as far as my muscles can help me, use my arms for a little bit of additional leverage, and hold in that position for just 2 seconds. Counting these repetitions, counting up to 10, or 20 if you want to count the seconds. And you have the option of doing this for longer because some people, their philosophy is you should stretch for 30 seconds. If that's the case, repeat 15 times or count to 30. If you typically stretch for just 20 seconds, then you're going to do 10 repetitions. The scalenes are muscles that sit either side of the neck. We have 3 on either side. And these guys are involved in side bending, rotating, and even flexing the spine. So I'm going to lean to the side. My chair's got a little bit of a side bar, but you can grip wherever you can on your seat. And then when I lean away, I'm bringing my shoulder back and down, and I'm using my shoulder girdle, which is my collarbone and my shoulder blade, to hold down that first and second rib. Then where I'm stretching my right side scalenes here, I'm going to turn my head to the right, the side I'm stretching, but then I'm going to side bend the opposite way. And again, holding for just 2 seconds. So that's my first rep. My second repetition. Good. Holding for just 2 seconds at a time, making sure that that shoulder blade stays back and down, that I am holding those lower ribs in position. Now remember, we said stretches are not supposed to feel like very strong stretches, but an advanced stage of this would be we can use the opposite hand to gently pull up. Now I'm pulling towards the ceiling, not down towards my opposite shoulder when I'm doing this stronger version. So just 2 seconds and relax. Let's take a look at this on the opposite side. From this angle, we'll probably be able to see a little bit better the crossbar that I have on my chair. I'm leaning over to grip it, then I straighten up or even lean slightly away to bring that shoulder back and down, holding those lower ribs in place. Because I'm now stretching the left side scalenes, I'm going to turn the head left, side bend right. So they're opposite directions. This is what's known as non-neutral spinal mechanics. So we really don't want to force this. And that's where we said if we're using the hand to slightly deepen the stretch, it's very gentle. It feels more like I'm lifting. I'm pulling my forehead or my temporalis up towards the corner of the room rather than down towards the shoulder. So think about where the ceiling is meeting the wall, and that's the direction we're gently pulling to get that very light lifting type effect. 10 repetitions again. And relax. Good. Let's move on. Bicep is a pretty well-known muscle in the front of the upper arm. Full name would be biceps brachii. And what isn't well appreciated is the fact that it's a big contributor to shoulder pain, particularly if you spend a lot of time with your elbows bent. Short tight bicep, particularly at this distal end, when the fibers get stuck, it acts as a sling and drives the humeral head up and causes a lot of pinching in the shoulder. So I'm going to start by bringing my shoulder back and down. I'm going to use the other hand then to really monitor. I want to make sure that this front of the shoulder doesn't start to pop forward. Palm is towards my spine to begin with, or towards my body, and I'm going to reach back 1, 2, and relax. Reaching back 3, 4. I'm counting in twos because I'm counting seconds. If it's easier for you, you can just count in repetitions. So this is my 4th rep. So I'm activating my tricep, even the back of my shoulder, my posterior deltoid, which is helping my bicep to relax. And again, most people will say they don't feel a very strong stretch. You're not supposed to. What we should feel is just a gentle lengthening. You'll probably feel this more in the muscles that are working. So you may start to feel a little bit of fatigue in the back of your shoulder or in the back of your arm in the tricep area. Let's take a look at this for the other arm. I'm going to turn around so again you guys get a different view. So once you're sitting down, shoulder blade goes back and down. We're going to monitor with the other hand and we're going to reach back 1, 2, and relax. And again, my habit is to count in twos, but like I said, you guys can count just individual repetitions or repeats of the exercise rather than counting in 2 seconds. So each time I reach back, I hold for 2 and I relax. Reach back and hold, making sure that shoulder blade isn't coming forward on us, that we are keeping it pinned back and down, and that we are getting the full effect with every repetition we perform. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again soon.